Report, please wait your name.
All right, so a pleasant good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us, wheresoever you might be joining us from. My name is Prince Moba. We are here in the chambers of the House of Representatives, where the body is conducting its regular session. Today is the 12th of the first quarter sitting of the 55th legislature. And so thanks for joining us. The reading of the committee's report continues on President Walker's request of 41 million US dollars for the month of February to settle government arrears and others. So thanks for joining as we join the Chief Clerk of the House of Representatives for the continuation of reading of the report.
$196,655. Senate goods and services, $150,000, 0%. House of Representatives goods and services, $250,000, 1%. Adjusted amount, $700,000. Other goods and services, $2,014,000, 5%. Adjusted amount, $1,514,000. Total, $41,300,000. 100% adjusted amount, $41,300,000. For the Committee on Ways, Means, Finance and Development Planning, Honorable Dixon Gravity Seal, Chair signed. Honorable Ellen Alton Red, Co-Chair signed. Honorable Ellis Noah, Member signed. Honorable Dorman T. Glicker signed. Honorable Julie F. Weir, Member signed. Honorable Luther S. Collins, Member signed. Honorable J. Mary Cole, Member signed. Honorable P. Mike Jurek, Member signed. Honorable Matthew Joe, Member signed. Honorable Mrs. Sonny Becker, Member signed. Honorable Jacob C. Debbie, Member signed. And Honorable Steve Tikwa, Member signed. For the Committee on Public Accounts and Expenditure, Honorable Clarence, Honorable Donald Glicker, Co-Chair signed. Honorable Frank Safoko Jr. signed. Honorable Jerry Yobo signed. And Honorable Michael Thomas signed. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Deputy Speaker, Honorable ladies and gentlemen, that was the reading of the report of the House's Committee on Ways, Means, Finance, Development Planning, and Public Accounts and Expenditure.
With the reading of the report from the Committee on Ways, Means, and Finance and Public Accounts, what is your draft budget as submitted and adjusted? What is your will and pleasure?
Yeah.
Look. You got a copy? Cannot borrow it.
All right, so thanks for joining us. We are here in the chambers of the House of Representatives.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Deputy Speaker, esteemed Bako.
Original
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Deputy Speaker, esteemed colleagues. I've been listening to the report on the job committee on ways made finance, planning and development, and on public account. I've moved, if I can team a second, on the issue about the 41 million that it is to be spent on other expenditure for government. I've moved, if I can team a second, that said report be sent to the Liberia Senate for and then later sent to the executive for be adopted and the budget be adopted as amended and sent to the Liberia Senate for concurrence. Are you ready to vote? Honorable Guillen, for readiness. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Deputy Speaker, if the committee can make clarity all the goods and services for the adjustment made on the HR goods and services, HOR, the budget that was set to our 250,000 and the adjustment was made to 700,000. It means that additional 450,000, adjustment was made. We need clarity on that. Moreover, the Senate goods and services, the amount was 150,000 and the adjustment made in 350,000, which means that there's a variance of 200,000. So, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Deputy Speaker, I will need clarity on this. Okay, you'll be ready to vote. And you'll be ready to vote if the committee clarifies you to everything was in the report. The chief read the report and was
I will be ready to vote if my name was placed on this document because I'm a member on the PSC. I attend a meeting, but I don't see my name on this document. But I have signatures of other colleagues on this document.
So noted. Are you ready to vote? Honorable Cunning.
In the spot, friend.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Deputy Speaker, fellow colleagues. To the movement, in days of financial instrument, it is important that we allow the chair on Ways, Means and Finance to at least give us synopsis, some explanation to this body for the good of the public. But to just send it to the Liberia Senate, I think to the movement, it would be just if you allow the chairman of Ways and Means to at least speak on the issue for at least 2 minutes so that we can at least debate on the issue and have it If you accept that amendment.
As the lawmaker who are here before, I'm calling from Moserado County, District 2, I so accept.
Okay, yeah, okay, we'll take the unreadiness, but we'll not take repetitive unreadiness. It's already been accepted that the report be opened up by the committee. So anybody else coming with trying to open it up, I will gather it. Honorability. Honorability week. Honorable Barry. Unreadiness.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Deputy Speaker, fellow colleagues, to the movement. I'll be ready to vote if the committee can make clarity on other goods and services.
We just said that there was an amendment to the motion to open it up. So once we open it up, any clarity you need when the committee chairman finishes, you can ask the questions. Any other unreadiness? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Mr. Chairman on Ways, Means and Finance and the committee, the chairman on public accounts, you have, actually we will give you 5 minutes for presentation. Every member has a copy of the report. Honorable Toes, approach the chair.
Thank you, police. Let me start by apologizing to all the police for the late presentation of individual reports. We have considered doing it in our chat room, but again it was a slip of the airport, so we apologize, and we hope going forward it's not going to be repeated from our committee. So the executive have presented to us a request for us to allow them or give them approval to spend 41.3 million for the month of February, and the background is that because we do not have the budget and they have already expended 112 days on the last budget that was presented, that was returned, they needed to get the relevant approval from us to do spendings. Our government is literally shut down. MP salary, we can't do anything. And so because we are the appropriators, they asked us for our approval. And so based on the request that was made, I'm just going to give you the high numbers. The first is 31.7 million, which is distributed as 5.7 million for debt services and 26 million for compensation. Compensation to me, everyone else who works in government, including the judiciary and the legislature. And then a breakdown of 2 million for priority projects for the 100-day deliverable of the president, and that is also distributed into two. There is a slight numbering issue that I want to bring fully to your attention. The 100 days is actually 1.9 million, and if you see the GAC should be 85,000. You got some people have 50-something thousand here before, and if you add those two, it will come up to the 2 million. I just thought to make that correction quickly. And then operation of GOL and other branches combined is 7.6 million, and that 7.6 million is distributed accordingly. After our deliberations, we came on to make some conclusions, and the conclusion we made was that we were not going to deal with anything concerning salaries and debt because the debt of 5.7 million are actually bilateral, multilateral, and World Bank associated debt, and interest from a lot of debt from the banks. Yeah, which when you have a copy that the first copy that distributed, you see a listing of all of the debt that is going to be paid in February. Now, the reason we did not deal with those debt issues is because they are mostly time-conscious debt repayment. If you don't pay, you get sanctioned. If you don't pay, the banks don't do business, and so we thought not to. We thought not to go into that area. So our basic movements were on three basic lines. The line that concerned food and catering for hospitals, prisons, and barracks. We shifted 100,000. So you see, instead of 995, it's 150,000 is 845. The line that concerns janitorial services across the government was at 750. We allocated 650. And the line that concerned all goods and services that the colleague Barry was concerned about. If you see in the breakdown, there are goods and services for Ministry of State, goods and services for VP office, goods and services for Judiciary, Senate, and House of Representatives. One second, let me just lay one time. Okay. The speaker has not called you yet. So
I see you skip Mr. Speaker, Deputy Speaker, colleagues. I see you skip the line for Armed Forces Day.
Okay, so I will get that quickly.
But why you skipping?
It's my reporting method.
When you finish this report, okay, so we're not allowed other inquiries. When you finish this report, any question you want to ask, you will ask him.
When you do financial reporting, you take the big numbers first. So that's what I'm doing. So the 2.4 million for other goods and services, I was getting the point of saying that it is a cost across the entire government. So you see that we are not included. Senate, Judiciary, Ministry of State, all of those people have their own lines, but the 2.4 million is for the rest of the government ministries across the country. So what we did is that we deducted around 500,000 from that amount, and then we spread over to three critical areas. One, the legislature, the House of Representatives, instead of 250,000, we do 700,000. The Senate, instead of 150, we do 350. And then the judiciary now for 2 quarters, because they run a semi-autonomous financial system, they always start quarterly payments to them. But for the last 2 quarters, in fact, the judiciary have not received any monies, and so we were saying that instead of 96,000 for the goods and services, we're doing 196,000. On the issue of the Armed Forces Day, yeah, it was something that came to the attention of our committee. But when we discussed with the Ministry of Finance, normally when these big programs are coming up, they already made some payments in advance. And so that 100,000 were basically payments that were made in advance of us celebrating the Armed Forces Day. The fact that it did not happen, we are counting our police with the PSC as and when they do their special audit of this Armed Forces Day and the inauguration as a whole. They can highlight that to know whether the monies due they were paying in advance, when they were returned, or what happened in the process. Honorable colleagues, thank you for the opportunity, and I hope that based on our presentation, we can resolve to do a resolution, because again, we cannot just pass it. We have to send to the Senate so that this budget is passed. Primarily, the Liberian people who are working in government must get paid. And we, as the representative of the people, will not stop them from getting paid at this time of the year. Thank you very much.
Okay, so the ground rules is each person will have 2 minutes. Let me see the hands of those who would like to speak. No, it can't be everybody. Because I don't want somebody to have an afterthought and they put their hand up and they expect to be recognized. So I see basically we have about 15.
So the chair on Wayments and Finance, Representative Dixon Civil, has done his presentation on how the committee went about to allocate the funding. Members of the House are asking questions based on what they observed. Keep following focus on Liberia. My name is Prince.
You just gave a breakdown for the amount allocated for all of these services. And it's not in the percentage you give us. Are you giving that breakdown published, or you just telling us something that?
So this is the fact. There should be goods and services for the government generally. In this report, the ministry decided to give some distinction with the Ministry of State, the Office of the President, the Office of the Vice President, Senate, Judiciary, and the House of Representatives. But there are other line ministries and agencies that also need stationaries and everything to operate. So that what 2 million that we reduced to 1.5 million will deal with all the goods and services across all of the other ministries and agencies. So that is the work amount for all of them.
Honorable Sibo, I think for clarity or to make the police understand everything that is there on your report.
So
not just for media, like that, and telling us to give 500,000 to the agency, we added 200,000. So in case you don't add it tomorrow, we send this to
No. So the budget, the budget is a proposition that can only be implemented based on revenue that will be raised. 1. 2, other goods and services, they will not give us a breakdown from ministries and agencies down that way, because again, it's going to be based on requests made and available resources at a point in time. So for one of those people, we just put in context 1.5 million. You cannot use more than 1.5 million in February for all goods and services across all the ministries. Because the Ministry of Finance will use 2,000. It's going to be based on the request made and the availability of the resources at the point in time of request.
But also, Honorable Sibo, I think Honorable the important thing there is, I think there's a notation in the report that when they send the final budget back, there must be an accounting for what that will be.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. That's good.
Honorable Cooper, you put your hand on, and you not put your hand on, finish with this side. Oh, trouble, man. I don't want letter on the floor. No, what letter? I'm here for the letter.
We get it.
You have to give me time to speak. Honorable, it will be read. Honorable Cooper.
Chair, I know you spoke about all of this and services, but I see here and you say it cut across the other line ministries and agencies. But I also see here that you have 2 line items speaking on electricity and water. Could you please explain? Because if you talk about other line ministries and agencies, I also know that the Electricity Corporation is included. Water and sewage is also included. So why do we have water and electricity as line items in the budget as well?
Okay, so the government on the overall has a contract with LEC and water and sewer for the provision of water and electricity across here. So that is separated from other goods and services as accounted for, because we have to pay. For example, in LEC case, we have to pay certain amount for them to continue to allow government ministries to be serviced. So this, all of goods and services do not cover water supply and electricity supply across government.
Yeah. These are direct bulk payments to water and sewer in the LEC for payment of our bills. Yeah. Honorable Benedict.
I will bring it out.
Honorable Cooper, with you. I wanted to be engineering and field, so I went to law school. Honorable Benedict.
Chair, I have a concern I want to address.
Honorable Benedict is protected.
Thank you.
Chair, I have a concern, and I know by the time we finish with this process, my concern will be moved. So therefore, I may just as well ask you. The presentation by the executive to us of 41 million did not take into consideration the fact that the previous government had already invoked by the PFM law, Article 22 of the PFM law, that says that the Minister of Finance can invoke 10%, I mean 1/12 of the budget that they submit to legislation while the deliberation is going on. That 1/12 is 66 million United States dollars. The executive sent a spending request to us without reference to the whereabouts of that 66 million. Yes, I would have loved, since the president is the one who expends the budget, in his communication to us, to have told us that the first money set aside as by law has been expended. And therefore, there is no law currently allowing for usage of public funds beyond 1/12. There's absolutely no law in the country right now. And therefore, the president's reliance is not clear. We are here to uphold the law of our country. So therefore, what is your reliance and the reliance of this body? Allowing the president to use $41 million in addition to $66 million that has already been given to the executive by law.
So I will start by saying, I don't know your reliance on your numbers, but when the budget was presented, the first budget by the former government, they evoked 1/12.
Yes.
As at the time, 1/12 was calculated at 52 million based on the revenue envelope that was projected. So I don't know where your 62 million comes from. No, let me finish now.
The budget was 780.
No. So I see where you're coming from. You are taking, listen.
That is the law.
Chief.
Honorable Benedict, any chance to answer?
When the government does 1/12, it is based on actual revenue collected at the 1 second, Chief. We can open a dialogue on the
That's not what the law said.
Hello.
The law said based on your submission to the legislature.
So the submission is for your program. You're using that 1/12 on your program. Listen now, Chief. The 1/12 is on your revenue raised in last year, but applied to your programs in this budget year.
Correct.
So my total revenue raised is 600 million. I take 1/12 of 600 million, 550. Okay. So I take 12% of that, 1/12, and apply it to the proposition I made for this year. You understand?
Mr. Chairman, the law does not talk about revenue. The law talks about law that the budget submitted, you are allowed as Minister of Finance.
So I want to give you a background. Why we are doing
You are quoting the wrong number.
No. So
Okay.
It's not based on revenue.
So
It's not based on revenue.
Honorable Benedict.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we come to a point where we get to whether or not it's based on revenue or it's based on projection. The bottom line is the 1/12 was spent in accordance to the budget as it was submitted. Because we set the budget back, the 1/12 can no longer be applied by the government, and so in order to keep the government running, we are authorized, we have been asked to authorize money for February, and that is what is before us. On the issue of when the 1/12 was spent, public accounts at some point will have those information when audit is done, to be able to provide you with that information.
Mr. Speaker, the law says if you and I have approved it, then what has been spent, the detail of that expenditure has to be.
Mr. Speaker.
The law says it's in law.
which law?
If you ask for money to be spent, then you must submit the expenditure report of your previous spending.
No. Honorable Benedict,
Yes, sir.
you mentioned one important and then your time has expired.
Okay.
You mentioned one important
That's what I'm
point.
saying.
Yeah. You said everything. They look at me. No problem. They look at me. The issue here is, again, we are asked for, the president cannot spend any money without our appropriation. That's our constitution. We have been asked to perform a constitutional mandate, which is appropriate. And you can stay through your vote as to whether or not you approve or don't approve. Honorable Rawa, one way.
You jumping for here now, Speaker? Yeah, coming down. Coming down.
Let me thank the committee for the analysis of this report. I will pray that the Senate agree with us. And I think for the report, two things will happen. We have a prior report, financial analysis as well. It's called a performance report. Thank you. There were details to us whether the money was properly or not. And I think we should look up to that. And the PSC will do due diligence. All that happened, they had done here, will be executed by executive, and will report to us. So thank you, and we are the Senate.